On April 20th, the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen spoke at the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, emphasizing the need to strengthen the economic relationship between the U.S. and China, while safeguarding their interests. Yellen emphasized that as the two largest economies in the world, the U.S. and China should compete on a level playing field, and any divergence between them could have disastrous consequences. Yellen also urged China to cooperate with the U.S. on issues such as global debt, which would be mutually beneficial for both countries. However, the U.S. federal debt has reached $31.7 trillion, which is 120% of the U.S. GDP as of April 21st. This highlights the fact that the U.S.'s recent material wealth has largely been achieved through borrowing globally. The growing economic divide in the U.S. has led to increasing differences between Congress and the White House on the debt ceiling issue. Yellen has repeatedly warned of the catastrophic consequences of default, including economic losses and concerns from the international community about the U.S.'s trust and creditworthiness. On April 19th, Republicans proposed a bill in the House of Representatives that would cut federal spending and cancel part of the White House's policy agenda as a condition for raising the national debt ceiling. The deadline for raising the debt ceiling is March 2024 or until the national debt of the U.S. reaches $32.9 trillion, whichever comes first. However, with the federal debt increasing by $300 billion in just 3 months, meeting either of these deadlines appears to be challenging. The U.S. government's budget deficit in March was $378 billion, twice that of the same period last year. In the first 3 months of this year, the U.S. federal deficit has reached $1 trillion, a 65% increase over the same period last year. The proposal to reduce U.S. federal spending by raising the debt ceiling is unlikely to be accepted by the Senate and most Democrats, which will exacerbate the U.S. debt divide. As of April 19th, the U.S. Treasury's cash reserve account had fallen to its lowest level of $36.5 billion, indicating that the U.S. economy is facing serious problems, and the debt crisis is quietly spreading. The market's concerns about a short-term U.S. debt default are further intensifying as the 5-year credit default swap spread for the U.S. has widened to 50 basis points, more than twice the level in January. The cost of providing 1-year default insurance for U.S. debt is over 100 basis points, far higher than the level in 2011 when the debt ceiling deadlock led to the U.S. government's first credit rating downgrade. In addition, the 3-month U.S. Treasury bill yield, which is most sensitive to debt ceiling debates, has reached a 22-year high of 318%. These data indicate that investors are accelerating the sale of U.S. bonds. It is true that every debt ceiling in U.S. history has been raised, but the current situation is unique because the country's economic inequality is worsening. While Congress has proposed increasing the debt ceiling on the condition of reducing federal spending, this proposal may not be approved by the Senate and the Democratic Party members of Congress who hold the majority. This divide over the U.S. debt is worsening the country's economic disparity. If the United States defaults on its debt, it will be unable to pay the salaries of federal workers or Social Security checks. More significantly, the loss of global confidence in U.S. government bonds as a secure investment could lead to a decline in the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status, which of 27.3%. In addition to China, other countries such as Japan and Brazil have also decreased their holdings of U.S. government debt. The decrease in foreign investment in U.S. government bonds poses a threat to the U.S. economy as it increases the cost of borrowing and makes it difficult for the government to finance its debt. This could lead to a vicious cycle of increasing debt, increasing borrowing costs, and decreasing investor confidence. To address the issue of declining foreign investment in U.S. government debt, the U.S. government must address its budget deficit and reduce its reliance on borrowing. This can be achieved through a combination of spending cuts, revenue increases, and economic growth. However, achieving these goals will require bipartisan cooperation and a willingness to make difficult decisions. In addition, the U.S. government must work to improve its international relationships and address concerns about its fiscal stability to regain the confidence of foreign investors. In conclusion, the U.S. debt crisis poses a significant threat to the country's economic stability and global standing, while raising the debt ceiling is a necessary short-term solution. The U.S. government must address its underlying budget deficit and reduce its reliance on borrowing in the long term. This will require bipartisan cooperation and a willingness to make difficult decisions, as well as a focus on improving the country's international relationships and addressing concerns about its fiscal stability. By taking these steps, the U.S. can regain the confidence of foreign investors and ensure its long-term economic success.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing for more content. Take care.